Hey everyone, welcome back to another lesson. So in this one, we're going to debug another code, which is actually a pretty interesting one because it is going to include if and else statements, and it's going to kind of show the mistakes that you can make when you're trying to figure out a certain number using if and else. So I'm going to comment out the code that we worked in the previous lesson. So I'm just gonna comment this out. And we're going to uncomment essentially this code, the play computer code. So I'm just going to command / it, and there you go. So we got our code right here. So the problem with this code is that it works on the surface, right? So, and the idea with this code is that it's going to ask for your year of birth, and if you actually enter anything between 1980 to 1994, it's going to say you're a millennial, right? And if you enter anything over 1994, it's going to say you are Gen Z. All right, so it's essentially going to detect whether you're Gen Z or millennial. All right, so it's pretty simple. So now the problem with this is that if I actually run this, let me just run this real quick. So it's going to say what's your year of birth, and if I say, for example, anything, let's say 1997, so it's going to work, right? It's going to say you're Gen Z. That's great, right? But the problem occurs when I actually enter a particular number. So if I run this one more time, if I enter 1994, which is the year I was born, what it's going to tell you is nothing. So if I enter this, as see, we're going to get nothing. So it's not going to return anything. So that's the thing. Our objective is to fix this particular error here, or particular bug, to find out what is wrong with it exactly. So try to pause the video and try to understand why why this is actually not working. And keep in mind that anything from 1980 to 1994 is millennial. Anything from 1994 and up is Gen Z. So technically, when we enter 1994, we need to get the Gen Z message, you are Gen Z. All right, so let's actually find out why, or what is the problem, and fix this. So pause the video and figure it out. All right, so hopefully you were able to take a look at this and figure out. Again, the problem is actually quite simple, but I thought it would be a good practice. So the problem here is that let's actually read the code and see what happens. So when we actually get the year from the user, and if it's 1994, so it's going to say if 1994 is bigger than 1980, so that's obviously is. So again, let's say it's going to be 1994, right? So that's going to be bigger than or greater than 1980. That's great. And the year is smaller than 1994. So this, it's going to say you're a millennial. But if if the year is 1994, like this, in this case, it's actually this, if we enter 1994, this is not going to apply, right? Because again, the year is bigger than 1980, so 1994, right? But the problem is that this condition and year is less than 1994, it does not apply, right? So that means that you're not a millennial if you're 1994. So that means that we're going to go to the next condition, which is the elif statement, and we're going to essentially say if 1994 is larger than 1994, you're a Gen Z. But in this case, that's not the case, right? Because again, 1994 is equal 1994. So that way, that's why we actually get an empty space essentially here. That means that it's just this doesn't compute. So what we need to do simply is to add a equal sign here. So the idea with this is that we're saying that if this condition doesn't apply, meaning that they're not millennial, what we need to check for is to see if the year either is bigger or equal 1994. If that's the case, you're going to print Gen Z. So if I save this right now and run it one more time, if I say 1994, there you go. It's going to say you are Gen Z. Perfect. So that was how we're going to solve this problem. Again, we just make sure that we cover 1994 itself as well, in case if someone enters that. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. Again, like obviously this is not a perfect thing. There are a lot of numbers that we're not calculating here. You know, what if someone's, you know, less than 19, like younger than 1980, right? So again, it's just like an example, but that's how you solve this problem. You know, add a equal sign here. So essentially, you know, larger equal than 1994. So that way we actually covered 1994 itself as well. So that's how we solve that bug within this code. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. If not, I'll see you in the next one.